I don't even want to look. I just want to go to bed. I want to use my Manta Sleep Mask that you guys know is a great sponsor on the channel. Make sure you use my promo code WARDY for 10% off, clicking the link in the description. Yes, we did the plug early because we have a lot to get into. A lot of profanities, Babby said, because I'm beyond fed up with this damn team right now. The Mets have now lost 10 of their last 13 games. I don't even want to look at this. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to look at the highlights running. I don't want to look at jack shit. I'm so fed up with this team right now. The Mets are making me do my best Frank the Tank fuck job right now because of how terrible this team has looked. I apologize for the profanity, parental advisory to the youngins. Please, anytime we do a rant show like this, highly suggest if you are not of age, please do not watch. I do not condone what is about to be said, but I'm a Mets fan that really struggles to hold anything back. And when the Mets face the Colorado Rockies, the Colorado fucking Rockies, and perform the way that they just did after winning yesterday, which was a dog shit game. Kodai Senga, thank you for a 6 shutty. Walk still an issue, but thank you for that performance. I appreciate. Brandon Nimmo, a double and a home run. Thank you. Where else was the offense? The Mets had made Senzatella and Gomber look like absolute studs the past 2 days after letting Eduardo Rodriguez wipe the floor with this team. Every single pitcher this team is facing off against, it doesn't matter if you're a fucking ace or if you're a minor league starter, are all performing the same. This offense is anemic. I'm so fed up with this damn team right now. It is beyond words. This is the exact same results we were getting last year. The Mets finally had a nice opening on the schedule playing lesser teams, and they did nothing with it. What are they doing? They're doing nothing with it. It doesn't matter that it is the month of May. It does not matter. The same applies. Every game matters, and this team is playing like pure dog shit. They cannot put the ball in play. They're letting another Compton lefty and Gomber, who had a 7.7 fucking ERA, entering today, carve them up without a problem. Their only runs today, you might ask, were RBI groundouts. That's how dog shit this team is right now. They are putrid. They are lifeless. I have no interest in watching them. That is how bad that they have been performing. I did not feel any excitement from yesterday's win, other than Kodai Senga looking happy and strong. I was happy about that. But besides that, there has been nothing positive about this team. They have been absolutely putrid. Putrid. Spam those L's in the chat right now. People on replay the same plays. I want to know your raw reactions to this. It's unbelievable how this team is making me feel right now. Unbelievable. We're in the month of May, and I have been trying my best to stay calm, cool, and collected. This team is going to ruin me this year. They play like this. There is nothing positive about this Mets team right now. Nothing. There is no life. There is no swagger. They don't have cojones. They have nothing. There is no mojo with this team. They have nothing of an it factor from what we've seen. And not only last year, but even in recent years, when they just missed playoffs, they still had sparks to them. They still had excitement. There's nothing exciting about this Mets team right now. It has been an over 2-week stretch of them performing absolute dog shit baseball, and I'm just supposed to sit here and be okay with it? Content with it? Because it's early in the year? No. Fucking changes need to be made. Something needs to be had here. I know this guy's not following, so for anyone going out of their way to try to comment down in the live chat or the comments below, I'm the most optimistic Mets fan you will ever meet. So for me to have to feel and act this way tells you just how serious of a problem this Mets team is right now. Their offense is beyond a laughingstock, okay? It's beyond. The fact that they even have to feel somewhat reliant to bank on rookies and Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez to be saving graces because the bottom of the order is dog shit in this lineup is not helping. Francisco Lindor is not a contact hitter at all. He's striking out at an alarming rate. Thankfully, he's still hitting gap to gap. Lindor's been great with the extra base hits, so I'm not complaining about him too much. But Alonso has been non-existent in the past couple series. That doesn't help. And as we said to start the year, everybody, when the Mets do not have Alonso and Lindor driving in runs, they have nothing. This team is nothing without those two, and that's a problem. It's the same problem that we had heading into the damn season. When you get no offensive production, when you get no RBIs aside from via fucking groundouts, you're not going to have consistent success. This team is getting carved up left and right no matter what pitcher they face, and it is inexcusable for them to be performing in such manner when you just got swept by the Detroit fucking Tigers. Now you just lost the game to the Rockies. Even one game, and normally one game should hopefully, fingers crossed, the Mets get their head out of their ass and win tomorrow. If the Mets win tomorrow, good. I'm happy they won the series. But the issue here is that they've been on a slide. Normally, I would not react to just a singular loss after you won the day before. But if you guys know, if you guys have been following this Mets team all throughout the season, since the season began, especially the last 2 weeks, then you know how putrid, how anemic this offense has been. It has been unprecedented how bad this team has looked. There is nothing exciting about this team on a day-to-day basis right now. Nothing. Not even Alonso. Beatty, I love him. He's been great, but there is something missing from this team since the year began. Even when the Mets had their big wins, even when they had that really exciting win in their first game of the year in LA, right? They haven't had that it factor. They have no swagger. There's just something missing. And so much of missing has to do with this fucking team swinging and missing. Look at the offense today. How many strikeouts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the fucking Rockies. It's the Rockies. I'm sorry. I apologize to Rockies fans. I'm not trying to offend you. You guys were the better team. You deserve today's W. Congratulations. But the reality is that this is a Mets team that on paper should be doing nothing of this. They should be putting the ball in play. The Mets were known as a team entering this season that had one thing. It was really strong contact hitting. Even if they struggle to drive in runs via the home run ball, they would get on base at a good clip. They're not even doing that right now. That is the issue. They're not doing that. If you're not Brandon Nimmo this series, you are a nobody, right? Lindor had 2 hits today. That's good, I guess. I mean, it still means very little because his RBI was an RBI ground out, unless it wasn't even like he barreled the baseball into play out of the infield. Starling Marte is playing so bad right now. I don't know what his issue is. I don't know if he's not fully healthy, which wouldn't shock me. He's in his mid-30s and coming off of some significant injuries and surgeries. Marte has looked lifeless. We're not getting anything from the bottom of the order. Gourmet coming in to pinch. The fact that we even have Gourmet coming in to pinch hit when you're down a deficit in a game shows you how bad this team is right now. I love Luis Gourmet. I love his glove, but his hitting last year was an anomaly. Gourmet is never going to be more than a solid utility player that is defense first. That's never going to change. He can't catch up to the fastball for shit right now. He's all opposite field, and he has nothing. He took an off-speed pitch right down to Dick to strike out. Beatty, there in the 8th or 9th, whichever it was, same thing applied. And I'm not harping on Beatty much because Beatty got robbed of an opposite field hit today. A beautiful diving catch by Randall Grichuk. There's still positives there. Alvarez was the fact that they actually decided to go with Vogelback off the bench instead of Alvarez today bothered me because Alvarez was only one of the few schmucks to actually get a hit today. It was a single up the middle. Alvarez went 1 for 2 today with a run scored. So the kids, I'm not concerned by. You could even make the argument right now that maybe the Mets need to bring on more kids. Mark Vientos is hitting every baseball to the fucking moon in Syracuse. Ronnie Mauricio just had another 3-hit day yesterday, including a triple. Like, they're hitting. Billy Upper noted that Carlos Beltran is in Syracuse right now watching the kids, and they're very aware, and it's basically just a waiting game for when they're going to bring up these kids. But Canna has been so bad. So bad. I know he had that opposite hit in the game today, but he didn't even mean to. Like, it just, this team, how they are performing right now has no positives. There is nothing to be looking at this and say, wow, this team is, I know they're going to snap out of this funk. I promise you that is a fact. There's no change. There's nothing that I'm more confident in the Mets getting out of this funk, but it's the fact of the damage that they're currently doing in said funk right now. That is the problem that we are dealing with. If they weren't in this funk, this loss would mean very little to me. Oh, you won your last 2 series and you lost today. No biggie, especially if you win tomorrow. That's how I would always react. But it's the slide this team is on is inexcusable. It does not matter that it is this early in the season. It doesn't. Every game fucking matters. So anytime you go on a bad stretch like this, I'm going to call you out on your bullshit because it's inexcusable for the talent that is on this team. Yes, the payroll. We all know that story. Yes, I'm well aware. Thank you, everybody, enlightening me on the $400 million. That means nothing. What does mean something is that this team has the talent, and yet they are drastically underperforming like no tomorrow. This is a team that should be performing far better than what they're doing right now. I'm not saying they're going to go out and win every game. I'm not saying they're going to go out and win every series. I'm not saying they're going to be the best team in the league because they're not. On paper, heading into the year, they were never going to be the best team in the league, let alone even winning the division. I didn't have the utmost confidence in the Mets being the number 1 top dog in this division. I still view the Braves and Phillies highly. I really do. I said that heading into the year. I just want this team to make playoffs and do something with it down the stretch. But before we get there, we need to fucking fix some shit out because right now, this team is unbelievable. Like it's unbelievable how this team is performing on a day-to-day basis. This offense is so effing bad, so unbelievably bad. The Mets have scored 3 runs in their past 3 or 4 runs in their past 38 innings or whatever it was, 34 to 38. Like what are we doing here? What are we? And pitching wise too, McGill didn't have the sharpest start. He got into some early trouble again. Look, Tyler McGill is never going to be at this season more than likely. McGill is going to peak as your number 5 starter more than likely. I'm aware of that. McGill still kept the Mets in the ballgame. Nogosek gave up that bomb to Yunnan and Tovar, who I know the Rockies are highly of. He's a top prospect this year. Good for him. But the issue is that this is still a ballgame that the Mets should have been in from the beginning. Okay? Even if your pitching is giving up 5 earned runs, there's no excuses. The Mets had opportunities with 2 on, 2 out, or less than 2 out in the 8th. Did nothing. Same in the 9th had opportunities. Did nothing. Every time it feels like that they have an opportunity, they don't do jack shit with it. And for those that are wondering, I'm okay. My health is okay right now. I appreciate it. I suffer from anxiety, I know. And it doesn't help when I go on these rants like this. And it really doesn't help that the team that I cover on a daily basis decides to be dog shit for 2 weeks straight. Naturally, something has to give at some point. What that something needs to be is this team getting their head out of their effing ass, because it's inexcusable and it's anemic what this offense has been. Thank God they even got that one yesterday, because with our luck, they're going to lose tomorrow, and that could have been a sweep. 1 run could be the difference of the Mets being swept in this series when they just got swept by the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit fucking Tigers. This team, they're 100% going to make changes internally, externally, just a matter of when. And it's imperative for them to make sure that they make said changes before it's too late, before they put themselves in a hole that's too much. They're 500 right now, right? They're 17-17 if I'm not mistaken. Shout out all my members. Shout out all my live viewers, people live or on replay. Really appreciate you here. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by my good friends at Sorare MLB and Man to Sleep. We'll talk about them a little bit later before we get out of here. But yeah, tomorrow, I'm not going out of my way to do a live show tomorrow, probably. At most, we might do a podcast tomorrow night, but that's a wait and see. Tomorrow night or early Monday at the latest. I wasn't even planning to necessarily do a post game today. You know, I have a busy weekend. I have a family, loved ones to attend to, and fun things. You know, last night, that's why it was a 1-0 win. The Mets didn't. There was nothing positive besides them just getting the win and Kodai Senga. So I'm like, okay, don't have to worry about that. Weekends is usually when I like to have open, so I can live my life a little bit, just like anyone else. That works throughout the week. But it's like, okay, you see how they performed. Now today, it's like as long as I'm around, I have to act this way because I'm not acting. This is me being genuine. And this team is just driving me bananas right now. Driving me bananas. John, thank you so much for the $10 donation. John says, wish I shared your optimism. Billy will wait as long as he can to bring up the kids because it'll make him look like a piss poor GM with his acquisitions. I don't think that they're going to wait as long as you might think at this rate. If the Mets continue to go on a slide and they're not getting consistent production at the DH, push comes a shove and players are going to play their way on this team. The same way that Beatty did with Escobar. And that has turned out to be a really good move for the Mets. Beatty right now is batting .300 with an .828 OPS. I mean, Beatty is going to have a very good year for the Mets, even with the slides he goes on. You know, even against a lefty in Gomber, who, granted, isn't good, he was barreling very hard. I'm liking the at-bats I see from the kids. Even Alvarez is giving you quality at-bats now that we didn't see initially, when he's the youngest player in baseball. The Mets have so much potential with their young core that they have now brought up to start the year and will plan to in Vientos and potentially Mauricio before the year's end. They're going to bring these kids up, and it's imperative for them to make sure that they give all these guys an opportunity for the most part before we get to the trade deadline, because you don't want to have where you make a decision on the trade deadline and maybe you have those answers internally first. So you got to give these guys a leash, especially if you're not getting production from the veterans off the bench. And the reality is that the Mets just don't have enough spark. They don't right now. And I think what's bothering me more than anything is that the Mets found ways to win last year. They found ways to win with their great contact hitting. That was a recipe that wasn't for success all year long. We're well aware of that. But they found ways to win on a night-to-night basis. But this Mets team right now just looks so much like that same Mets team in the final month of last year. It's actually disgusting how much of a carryover this looks like right now. Stop showing highlights? No, I'm going to continue to show the Rocky highlights. Why? Because it's a fucking embarrassment that this Mets team allowed the only highlights of the game to be from the Rockies. So no, we have to endure it. We have to go through it together. That's the reality, okay? That's what's going to happen. Blame the Mets for allowing me to only show this. What, you want me to feature just 2 RBI groundouts for the Mets today? That's the only highlight we saw. So I'm not putting that shit in there. Mets have dropped 10 of their last 13 games. And they're only 2 of their 10 losses were against a good team. Only 2. The Braves are a good team. Those were the only justifiable losses. And one of those losses was a 5-inning ball game, and the other loss was, what was it? I'm already blanking. Part of that doubleheader. Whatever it was. My point stands. The other losses were the San Francisco fucking Giants, the Washington Nationals, the Detroit Tigers, the Colorado Rockies. Like, what? What are we doing? What are we doing? And I feel like I'm on repeat with how I'm acting right now with you guys. You've been seeing a bad side of me so much the past week plus, but it's been justified. I do not enjoy feeling this way, having to react this way. I get no enjoyment out of this. It drives me beyond insane when they're playing like this. And it's hitting me harder because the Mets haven't had a good stretch of baseball, like a truly good stretch. Like, realistically, a good stretch of baseball they haven't had since last summer. Like, they did well out west. But even when they did well out west, they were getting dog shit from their pitching. Thankfully, the offense was able to rectify that a bit. But aside from that, the Mets haven't... I just want to see the Mets go on a nice, really nice, comfortable 2-week stretch. When are we going to get that? And talking about pitching, let's talk about it to start the year. Again, I know that it only means so much because of the injuries and stuff, but this needs to be noted. Let me pause my TV right now, actually. Innings, okay, this is on S&Y right now. Let's go through it together. And let's go to the pitching stats here. Again, McGill wasn't even supposed to start the year in the rotation. I'm not nitpicking him at all, okay? He's not the reason why the Mets lost today. The Mets scoring 2 fucking runs is the reason why they lost today. Innings per start, Mets are 4.9 on average. That's 26th in baseball through the first month of the season. ERA, 5.3, 23rd. WHIP, 1.51, 27th. Opponent batting average, 260, 19th. K per 9, 8.1, 20th in baseball. And I can assure you their offensive numbers aren't much better. Can I better call Bauer because he is a base star? That's funny. Thank you for the donation. I like Canna too, but he's just, and he got a hit today, so he's not even like the worst thing that happened today. But he doesn't do anything. Like, he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything to make you happy with what you're seeing. The Cincinnati Reds sweep will shake things up. You would think that surely the Mets are going to perform well when they go to Cincinnati, right? Surely, but who fucking knows at this rate? They need it. I need to see it. It's inexcusable. Any other competent team that would go into Cincinnati is at minimum winning 2 or 3 or sweeping easily. If it's the Atlanta Braves, even if it's the Phillies, right? Like, you expect them to perform better. I don't know. My confidence with this team, how they're performing right now, is such a wash. I have no clue what to expect. I'm expecting more often than not bad offense with how they're performing right now. And if you've been following this team since the season began, how can you feel any different? The same applies. The exact same thing applies. You see that little red mark right there? That's probably a pimple, and I bet that's stress related. Where the fuck do you think I got that from? Is there any positive that I'm getting right now? I guess if there's one positive, it's thanks to my good friends at Sorare MLB, the best MLB fantasy game that you guys can play out there. I have 2 teams up for this week's tournament. My other team's cut off right now, but it's okay because they're not as good. I'm in the Majors tournament, and guys, for the first time, I'm using limited cards. See these gold cards, which are awesome? You can purchase or win in tournaments. I'm currently ranked in the 500th out of 9,500 people in tournaments. For those that don't know, you draft your teams with Sorare MLB. It's free to play. You don't have to spend a dime, but you can buy, sell, and trade cards just like how you normally do card collecting, but this time it's your own unique cards, NFT on the blockchain. It's really dope. I love everything about this game, and I mean it. And so far, in my 1 one of two tournaments and performing really well, and you enter tournaments weekly. There's 2 a week. You enter with your cards that you pick, and how you do in said tournaments is how their players perform in real life. And as you see here, I'm getting some production. Andrew Chafin, who I wish the Mets got, is again doing really well. And then you see Lance Lynn in there, had a solid, not great, but solid start against the Cincinnati Reds, no less, that we just saw, hoping to get some production. Alonso has given me like nothing this series, so it is what it is. Jonah Heim, who's a very good young and upcoming catcher, switch-hitting catcher, if I'm not mistaken, for the Texas Rangers too. Andrew Vaughn, who is a good hitter, who's not done much yet for the White Sox in this series. But how I do in these tournaments, then, what you could get award-wise is you can win merchandise for your favorite team. You can win tickets to your favorite MLB team if it's the Mets or if it's a different team. You can win real dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in these tournaments by just entering your weekly tournaments from the teams that you make yourself, and you can also win free upgraded cards to make your team better than what it initially was when you start out by drafting your team free of charge. But you can buy, sell, and trade cards for real dollars on demand. Again, you don't have to spend a dime if you don't want to, but you can surely do that. And again, based on the rarity of these cards, because they're unique to you, you will get a certain bonus with them. See, at plus 15%. So Mason Miller, who did phenomenal in his A's debut, starting pitcher, a duel with the other Miller, I forget his first name, for the Seattle Mariners. Mason Miller pitched 7 no-hit innings in either his debut or his second start in the bigs this year. It looked great for the A's, so surely they're going to trade him probably in 2 weeks, right? Jock Peterson, you have cards like that here. They have a laundry list of different cards that you can buy if you would like to upgrade your team and enter more exclusive tournaments that give you better chances at bigger prizes should you play them. So again, make sure to check out Sorare MLB, guys, using my link in the description. As always, shout out to them. Oh, and I just realized I went up in the rankings here. I'm now in the top 400. So let's see what happens. It's because of Spencer Strider. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Spencer Strider fan at all, but if you're going to help my fantasy team here, I'm not going to complain. Again, shout out to Sorare MLB for being a great sponsor, great friend on the channel. And I highly implore you guys all to check them out, because if there's one positive come out today, is that at least my Sorare MLB team is doing as advertised, as they have been doing really well each week. You know, I'm not trying to brag, been kind of a good GM in the game, not going to lie. You know, I know a lot of Mets fans could say, I don't know if they feel that way about the current GM, but that's a different discussion. Hum Baby Baseball, thank you so much for your donation. How's it going? It's not going good. It's not going good, my man. I appreciate you in here, though. For those that don't know, Hum Baby Baseball is a great YouTuber. There's a lot of the similar things that I do, you know, post-game shows, daily stuff, but instead of the Mets, he covers the San Francisco Giants. So if you guys are interested in checking out Giants content and MLB as a whole through MLB's history, make sure to check out Hum Baby Baseball. And thank you so much again for the donation, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Stream the Orioles-Braves game? No, thank you. And let's go O's, even though I'm sure they're going to lose. McGill pitched considerably better than he normally does, and he's a roster fill-in. Exactly. He had a lot of he had adversity like all-star today, but he didn't crumble. Like he gave you, it wasn't a good start. Let me make it clear. McGill didn't have a good start today, but he was the farthest thing from the Mets' concerns. The Mets' concerns right now, again, is this offense. Like what? It's Austin Gomber. It's Austin Gomber. It's unbelievable, is what it is. It's unbelievable. And that's exactly why I need to go to bed tonight. I need to take a nap using my Manta mask. Again, guys, use promo code WARDY for 10% off your purchase using the link down below. I need to go to bed. I mean, I feel like I need a nap. It's a Saturday. I want to enjoy my day. The weather's nice, and I can't even do that because of how bad this team's playing. Because you know what? It's important that we talk about these sponsors, because they're going to bring you more enjoyment right now than this Mets team. Because as we head to Manta Sleep, as you can see from their options here, they have a sound mask, a Bluetooth mask that you can use, which is so sick, playing your favorite music. You want some whale noises at night, whatever the hell you want, that's what you can get there. You got sleep mask, got mask, and I've had some awesome supporters of mine already purchase a bunch of masks, and I've heard nothing but raving reviews about the Manta Cool mask. If you go to bed hot like I do when I'm doing these post-game shows late at night, a Manta mask that is coolant, has coolant around your eyes at night, that is the way to be. If you want to heat up a little bit, have a Manta steam mask, if you will. If you want a weighted mask, they got that too. They got all your sleep mask things. They need it. They have it right there for you, so make sure to check them out. Link down below. Use my promo code WARDY for 10% off, guys. They are a great supporter on the channel, and they have been giving me some damn good sleep, and I've needed it after covering this team on a day-to-day basis since starting the year, because this Mets team right now is, who would have guessed, not good. But guys, with that being said, I'm out of here. I'm done with this shit. This team is driving me absolutely bananas, so hopefully we get a W tomorrow. Hopefully they can win the series, finally win the series. You know, it's crazy to think about. It's been a hot minute since the Mets have won the series. As a matter of fact, the Mets have not won a baseball series since they played the LA Dodgers. It's been that long since the Mets won a series. The LA fucking Dodgers, when Max Scherzer got suspended that series. That's the last time this Mets team has won a series. Love you guys. See you tomorrow, maybe.